My name is Dominic Siow. I'm the principal and founder of EQ Strategist. I hope that none of you are too allergic to enthusiasm because you're going to get a lot of enthusiasm from Dom and his team over the next couple of days. I hope you forgive me, but I used to be a COBOL engineer, software engineer. Spent all my days and nights working with machines. Very comfortable with that. If someone would have said to me 33 years down the road, you'll be traveling around the world as an inspirational speaker, coach. Man, I'll be saying, you're crazy. You're crazy. And how many of you would agree that you can have the best technical skills in the world, great at your subject matter expertise in your field, in your domain. However, your ability to influence others, to lead and get people to work with you will determine not only your success, but also the success of your organization. And how many of you would also agree that the ability to lead and influence others often starts from leading oneself? You know, through times of change, the importance of staying resilient, to stay positive, to stay motivated, sometimes can be easier said than done. Would you agree? Yes? I had to learn that the hard way. As a software engineer, I climbed the corporate ladder. I grew up in Malaysia, not so far from here, so very similar culture that all of you may have grown up with. I've lived in Sydney, Australia for the last 36 years, but it really took a life-changing experience for me to change my perspective of life. In the year 2001, I was senior manager at IBM. I was running a consulting practice, software services division. In the previous year, we had built the Olympic Games result system. That year, that website made it to the Guinness Book of World Records. Most number of hits per second without crashing. Everyone wanted to know what time it was that Kathy Freeman would run the race that would stop the nation. You can imagine it was a breakout year for us. On the back of that success, we won the rights to host the next two Olympic Games result systems, the Australian Open tennis. You know, whenever you see the digital scoreboards, the software behind it used to be written by my team. So we were the darling of the IBM family. You can imagine, I'd spent all my life being very task-oriented, very KPI-oriented, chasing targets, work hard the Asian way, right? Chase the target, reach the title, you should be happy. So you can imagine my shock and surprise in 2001. I still remember that day as if it were yesterday, October the 5th. Beautiful spring morning. I always had the philosophy, a leader should lead from the front. So 7:30 a.m., heading into the office, 10 minutes away, I got a phone call. Looking at a number, +65 country code. Does that sound familiar? Singapore! 4:30 a.m. in Singapore. I said, boy, I know Singaporeans work real hard. That's not a common call that I gave at that time of the morning. I picked up the phone nervously. It was Keith Pope, my boss's boss, Asia Pacific Director. Where are you, Dom? 10 minutes from the office, Keith. Pretty early. What's up? Dom, I can't wait for you to get to your office to break the news to you. I need to let you know that I've decided to restructure your organization. You are losing 30% of your team today. You are losing 30% of your team today. In that one sentence, I felt like my world had come crashing down. I went into deep silence. I kept asking, why? How could this be happening? How could you be doing this to me? After all I've done and more. Who have you picked? Why wasn't I consulted? They need their jobs. What is my role? New organization? What does restructure mean? I didn't even know. Never been through that before. And for 2 years, I struggled to get out of bed most days. I found myself clock watching. I lost all my passion for my work. I couldn't face up with my team. I felt guilty, hurt, regret, very often anxious about the future. And in those 2 hard years, I learned the hard way. Your ability to influence yourself is so important, to stay positive, to stay motivated. Because how many of you would agree that change is happening and is happening faster than ever today? And your ability to deal with change, right? To never lose sight of the lighthouses in your life, having a vision, And no matter how bumpy the road is, to stay true to that, to take the hits and keep going on and to bring your team along with faith and optimism is such a critical trait, would you agree? But I spent all my life up to that date attending courses on technical training, DB2, the latest upgrades on WebSphere, Lotus Nodes. That was all my team used to send us to training for. But landing into a course like this, in a workshop like this, except it was 4 days long, absolutely changed my life. I never heard about emotional intelligence before. All my life I'd spent building up my left brain. That's the realm of all your problem-solving skills, all the technical skills, how to run a project, how to put together a Gantt chart, right? How to do operations, how to put together a budget, forecasting, how to put together a project plan, how to put together a proposal, how to write software, how to run the software development life cycle, all technical skills, left brain. The right brain is where empathy is, the ability to manage our emotions, the ability to manage impulses, the ability to inspire ourselves and influence others and have empathy and bring them with us. How many of you agree that those are pretty important skills, not just at work, but also in life? But learning about that absolutely changed my life. In 2006, another life-changing moment. After attending that first course, I became addicted. I started to apply all those skills in my family life, my home. I was starting to enjoy my work even more. And I had a wonderful coach work with me one day. He says, Dom, just because you have a manager in your title does not make you a leader in the eyes of others. This is a leadership program. A leader must have a clear sense of direction. A manager, a boss, gives people directions. No, you want to be a leader? You've got to have a clear sense of direction. What's your direction? He says, imagine it's the end of your career. It's all finished. Your friends and family are throwing for you a testimonial dinner. Where would you like it to be? How many people would you like to have show up? How are they related to you? Eavesdrop into their conversations. What would you love to hear them say about your long and hopefully illustrious career? Who would you like to have deliver the speeches that evening? How would you most like to be remembered? I took that exercise very seriously. I wrote down 2 pages full, bullet point summaries of all the things I'd love for my children to say, my wife, my former manager, my staff, my clients, my suppliers. And when I read back what I'd written, I was in for a shock. It didn't say he helped build the Olympic Games result system. Turns out at the end of in the final analysis, wasn't so important. It didn't say he was a wonderful Java developer, spent 2 years in the Silicon Valley working with some of the best and brightest engineers. Didn't say all of that. I thought they were all the things that were so important to me because all my life I had focused on expanding those skills. All he said was that he inspired his children to live their best life, using their God-given talents to make the biggest difference to the lives of people around them. And he did that mostly by leading by example. I learned that I have a real passion for workplace culture. How many of you would agree that we would be spending, generally, the average person spends 30% of our life at work? At the end of the final, human resource research has shown. How many would agree that way too many people struggle from Monday morning blues? Thank God it's Friday. I just heard the other day, the first day, something called Hump Day. I didn't know Wednesday was called Hump Day. Did you know that, Andy? Hump Day. I said, wow. I said, why do they call it Hump Day? Well, you know, the first couple of days are hard, and then it's all downhill from there. Look, the industry has invented all of these, right? And I understand because I used to be one of those guys. And, you know, that day when I realized that I had this real passion for workplace culture, I realized also that in going through my journey, walking through that forest of my life, I had reached now, in a clearing, a new path. The old path, technical operations path, was kind of familiar, an old friend, but it definitely wasn't going to lead. My lighthouse wasn't there. My lighthouse was in another direction. But to cast off to that section was, whoa, scary as. But that day I chose the path less traveled. In the words of the great Robert Frost, who wrote the poem, I took the path less traveled, and it has made all the difference.